Happy Friday, everyone. So, I'm doing a new thing on my channel where at the end of every month, I just look back and reflect on the past month of my YouTube channel. I look at all the videos I made, and I read some comments, but I'm just gonna do some reflection on how I think the channel's doing, things I did right, things I did wrong over the past month, and look ahead into the future. If you left a comment on this channel in the past month, there's a good chance that you're going to be in this video, so stick around because I will be reading some comments that you guys left. And I'm just going to say overall, I think the channel has done really well over the past month. I think the past month of my videos, I think it's been a really good step in the right direction. I mean, this is the most alive that this channel has ever been in a really, really long time. Anybody who's been a long-time subscriber knows that the past 2 years of my YouTube channel, it's been pretty mediocre to say the least. The channel growth has been very stagnant. I've been floating around 3,000 subscribers for pretty much 2 years. I mean, I made my 3,000 subscriber special back in, I think it was March of 2018. And right now I have 3,099 subscribers. So it's finally starting to grow again. It's been floating around 3,000, 3,020, 3,030. I lost a lot of subscribers. I gained a lot of subscribers. It really hasn't been the best time for my YouTube channel, definitely. But I think the past month, and honestly the past 2 months, but especially the past month, you've really seen a step towards the right direction. I finally realized what I want to do with this channel, actually have a direction. Because over the past couple years, I've been changing my name constantly, doing this, doing that, trying different things, and I just didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. But now I think I have a pretty good idea of how I want this channel to look like going forward. And the first step in that direction really is to see what people have to say, what they like, what they don't like, because I feel like a big mistake that I've made over the past couple years is pretty much ignore what my viewers, what my subscribers have to say about the quality of my content, the type of content that I made, and the overall direction of this channel. So that's definitely one big thing I'm trying to change, because neglecting your viewers is not cool. I'm really sorry for doing that. I don't know. I think I was just making videos and not really caring about like actually growing a channel and doing all that. I just made videos because I enjoy doing it for myself and didn't really care that, okay, well, I actually have people that watch my content, and if I make something that's of pretty shitty quality, people are going to be disappointed. You're just wasting people's time. So with all that being said, I want to know what you guys think of the past month of my YouTube channel. What do you think I've done great? What do you think I've done not so great? And I would prefer constructive criticism. If you just like leave comments saying like, "Oh yeah, you're a piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. I hate you. I hope you just like lay down and die." No, like, yeah, I'd appreciate some constructive criticism, please. But any feedback really would be helpful. One thing I want to know from you guys specifically is, what do you guys think of the upload schedule? So this is the first month of the channel where I've actually committed to a specific upload schedule, which is Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Now, I've also had specific times where I'd released a video, so it used to be, I think it was like 12:15 Eastern Standard Time, but I noticed when I started uploading my videos later, like around 3 o'clock Eastern Time, the video views were a lot better. So I just want to know, like, first of all, what days do you guys want videos? So I wouldn't really want to do much more than 3 times a week, just because I'd just be pumping up content and not really having any regard for its quality. So I think 3 times a week is reasonable. It's enough content. I'm not overstaying my welcome, and making videos every single day is just not really feasible. So yeah, I 3 times a week is really what I'm aiming for, but specifically what 3 days work best for you guys. So I figured Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. I mean, Tuesday's like towards the beginning of the week. Friday, of course, and Sunday are weekend days, so people have more time to go out and watch my videos. But I want to know specifically what you guys want. Like, what specific 3 days do you want my videos to be? Because I'm more than willing to change the schedule. Whatever works for everybody would be cool. So I want to know that specifically, and also what you guys think about the type of content I've been making. So I've been pretty much doing the whole PC versus console thing. I know some people aren't really a big fan of it, but a lot of people are. I mean, those are my most viewed videos when it comes to talking about PC and consoles. But I don't want that to be the entirety of my channel. I've also been doing documentaries here and there. I did a documentary on the PlayStation Network outage in 2011, and I have more documentaries planned for the future. So these video game history videos, if you guys like that, let me know. Like, if you guys don't like it, like, what don't you like about it specifically? You know, just like stuff like that. I'd appreciate any criticism that you guys have, any constructive feedback, anything, really. I'd really appreciate it. So, let's get on with the comments that you guys have left on my videos. The first video I made this month was on January 3rd, titled, I'm Done with Console Gaming. I spend a few minutes just talking about my experience with console gaming and why I can't go on consoles anymore. I just can't. Like, I am done with console gaming for good. I'm planning on actually selling all my consoles, actually, because they're just collecting dust at this point, and I have no use for them anymore. So I'm gonna sell my PlayStation 4, I'm gonna sell my Xbox One, I'm thinking about maybe selling my PS3, but I'm not quite sure about that one yet. And I'm definitely going to sell my 1063GB because that is just, sell it while I can before it gets really useless. So here are a few comments that you guys left on that video. The first one is from Hi, how are ya? Wow, I'm genuinely surprised that you stopped defending consoles. And reading a lot of the comments throughout all of my videos this month, this is like a common recurring theme that people realize, wait, you sound familiar. Wait, MrNoobTubeGamer, wait, you're making pro PC videos? Like, what the hell happened? Yeah, I mean, I said it before, and I'll just say it again. Console gaming really serves no purpose anymore in the year 2020. So it's just time for me to cut my losses and move on. The other comment from Rexlon HD. Only console I care for is my Switch, besides that is my PC. I only wish Sony would return to their policy about playing online for free, but I know that won't happen now that they have a higher cash flow. Well, you're absolutely right. The thing is that there's no incentive for Sony to just decide, oh yeah, online is free now, because you have so many fools that are willing to actually pay them $60 a year to play games online. As long as the money keeps coming in, people aren't refusing to buy a PlayStation because of the paid online, because if you're a console gamer, paid online is everywhere. So this is like an industry standard now, that even with all the competition, there's really no options for you if you want to play your games online for free, unless you go to PC. And I mentioned that specifically in the video, the paid online was really pissing me off, and that was one of the big things that made me decide to leave console gaming, because not only was it an inferior experience, but I was paying a premium for an inferior experience. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live offer that Steam, Discord, and other online platforms on the PC do not offer and do even better than the consoles. So, yeah, that paid online bullshit really pissed me off. Jalen Johnson wrote, welcome back, hope you enjoy your stay, but on a serious note, I hope you don't become an elitist in the process of your experience on this platform. Yeah, I don't plan on belittling people who play on consoles, so I do make videos like Console Peasant Cancer where I do make fun of people, but that's really more about their arguments than, like, their actual playing style. Like, I don't believe in demonizing people for choosing a different piece of plastic than I do. You know what I mean? It's just pointless, and don't worry, I'm never going to do that. I don't believe that I'm a superior person for deciding to play on PC than people who play on consoles. I think it's just anybody could do it. You know what I mean? I'm not just this special person because I play on PC. Like, first of all, it's video games. This has no bearing in real life what piece of plastic you play on, really. You know, that's the first thing. Second of all, anybody can decide to abandon their console and get into PC gaming. It's not that I'm a superior person for doing it, but I just realized that it's a far superior gaming experience, and, you know, I like playing video games, so the best way to play games, that's where I ought to be, you know what I mean? And I also remember in that video specifically mentioning the lack of genre variety for the PlayStation 4, how every exclusive kind of feels the same, and with PC you have a lot more versatility and variety. So let's see what Tragai has to say about that point. There is genre variety on PS4. God of War, Spider-Man, Uncharted 4, they have superficial similarities that they are narrative-based game, but every one of them have unique gameplay style. Dude, do you play Persona 5? And do not get me started on Switch exclusive, from JRPGs to 3D platformer to third-person shooter to fighter. The diversity on Switch is mind-boggling. Good if you do not like it, alright, but stop labeling entire generation of console bad if it did not meet your taste. This gen is for mostly single-player experience. Okay, obviously, God of War, Spider-Man, Uncharted 4, they don't all play exactly the same, but they are absolutely within the same gameplay genre. You seem to not quite understand what genre means. I don't mean genre as in you have different gameplay, right? Because Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, and all these games, Spider-Man, they're all in the third-person action-adventure genre of games. Just because different games are within the same genre doesn't mean that they all play exactly the same. For example, Call of Duty and Quake are completely different video games, but they are both encompassed within the first-person shooter genre. The point I was trying to make is, where are the first-person shooter games? Where are the fighting games, the survival games, the role-playing games? And sure, you mentioned Persona 5, and you even have Bloodborne, which you can consider to be RPGs, but they are really few and far between. An overwhelming majority of PlayStation exclusives are all within the same exact genre. Now, do they play exactly the same? No, but I don't think it's completely unreasonable to expect some type of variety in the actual gameplay genre. And Nintendo's another great example of this, because you brought them up too. Nintendo, yeah, they have platformers. Yeah, PlayStation doesn't have platformers. So yeah, Nintendo has platformers. Nintendo has, these action games as well, like Zelda. You have fighting games, and you do actually have a good variety. Racing games. So Nintendo actually does a better job at the genre variety than Sony does. But the problem that Nintendo has is that they target one specific demographic, which is mostly children, but of course, games that everybody could play more broadly. Like, I'm not saying you have to be a kid to play Nintendo, but I do like to have some more mature games with more mature themes. I do like the blood and the gore every now and then. It doesn't have to be everywhere, but at least having one game that's exclusive to that platform that can scratch that itch for me, that's really important as well. So I really think that all platforms on the console really have a hard time with this genre variety. This wasn't even a problem last generation. With the PS3 and 360 and even the Nintendo Wii, you had a lot more variety than you do now. What I love about the PC is that you have everything. You don't just have strategy games and these top-down games. You have first-person shooters like Escape from Tarkov and Insurgency. You have plenty of third-person action games that are also exclusive to the PC. So it's not just one genre. You have so much genre variety on the PC, and that's something that we've definitely been missing this current console generation. Now moving on to my video on frame rate, I just talk about, oh my god, I'm on PC now, and the frame rate, playing games at 120, 144 frames per second. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before, and I love it. So I got one comment from Samanon, which says, I already started to like shooters once I got keyboard and mouse, but a high hertz monitor and a better PC, it was just on another level. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, not just the higher response on keyboard and mouse. Granted, if you really want to get on keyboard and mouse, you could do it on the console, but that high refresh rate on the PC, combined with keyboard and mouse, playing first-person shooter games is like a completely different experience. It's like, I feel like my entire FPS experience back in the day, when I started playing them as a young teenager with Modern Warfare 2 onwards, 10 years later, I feel like for the past 10 years, I've been playing first-person shooter games completely wrong on a console and a controller. It's just like, a lot of them, 60 frames per second, that's great, but once you get like to 90 to 120, it's, wow, like a completely different experience, and it's just so much better. And this video specifically is the one that really got my channel going this month, and I started gaining subscribers, gaining views, and my channel was actually on an upward trend because of this specific video. Now, I thought it was a really good idea. I kind of imagined that people would appreciate it. So, yeah, I kind of expected that it would turn out the way it turned out. I did not expect Bullet Barry to find it and promote it on his Twitter and all of that. That definitely boosted it a lot, but Bullet Barry, he left a comment on that video. And of course, this is the video where I made a video response to myself 5 years later. That infamous video I made, how to win a PC versus console debate. And I was I had responses from Rags, from Bullet Barry, of course, and from all these other YouTubers. So it was a video that a lot of people still remember. So 5 years later, obviously, my views have changed a lot. Thought it would be cool to make that response, and people seem to like it, including Bullet Barry. Watch the entire thing. This was great. You will be the next Bullet Barry. And I already responded to him in the comments, but no, I'm not the next Bullet Barry. You know, maybe I'm doing, it's similar in the sense that I'm doing a similar series to Bullet Barry, where I'm responding to console peasants and all that. So that's where the similarities end, really. Like, you know, we get along really well and we have good chemistry, but I think we have completely different styles, the two of us. And I don't think, beyond just that one series, Console Peasant Quotes and Console Peasant Cancer, I don't really think there's much comparison to be made between myself and him. And on that same video, we got a comment from Ugly Gamer, and I really like this one because this is really like what inspired me to make the video in the first place. It's so true. He said, "I like how you treat your past self almost like a different person. Not sure if it's just me, but it seems like two different people are talking." That's exactly what I was planning on doing, like, in that video. Like, that's what inspired me to make that video, was to see, like, how much have I really changed over the past 5 years. And yeah, very often I was referring to myself in the past in the third person, even though it was me. I was responding to myself, but it often felt like I was making a response to a completely different person, to a different YouTube channel. But it was the same channel. This was me 5 years ago, and it's crazy to see how much, because 5 years really is not a whole lot of time, but I guess when you're in my age, it really is. But such a drastic change, it's just crazy when you look back at it. Like, you don't really think of it when time goes on. It's only when you look back that you realize, holy shit, all this time has passed, and it's just like, things are just completely different. Like, that's not even just like a YouTube channel thing. That's a life thing that we can all relate to. So that's why I thought that this video was successful and why it did so well. Not only because, oh, you know, I'm debunking myself from the past and I'm kind of like rebuking myself and condemning my past actions, but it's also like, wow, like when you take a look back at the past, things like are so different and people really can resonate with that. So that's why I think this video was really successful. Going back to Bullet Barry, on in the month I did a live stream with him, and that live stream, oh man, that live stream went so well. I was so happy with just hanging out with Bullet Barry because I don't really get to talk to him a lot. You know, he's in Mushroom Land. I don't know where he is, but he's not. We don't really talk as much as we used to back in the day. So talking to Barry is always a great time, and everyone seemed to appreciate that. I will be doing more live streams more frequently, but I'm trying to figure out what type of live streams I should do. But yeah, now that I have a good internet connection, expect more live streams than before, where I would do like a live stream literally like once a year and no more than that. But now that the internet connection is good, expect more live streams in the future. So maybe I'm going to do one this Sunday, actually. We'll see. And I can't mention that specific live stream with Barry without mentioning Sponge Matt, who gave me a $10 super chat, which meant so much to me. I really appreciate that, man. $10 donation. You're fucking awesome, dude. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And yes, more video game history will come out in the future. They do take a long-ass time to script and edit, so just be patient. But yeah, I have a few projects that I'm working on right now that will take a little bit of time to finish, but not too long. And then I made a video about buying the right monitor, just my whole experience about getting a monitor for the first time. I mean, it was definitely not my best work. It didn't seem like you guys really cared for it too much. It's not like it got bombed with dislikes or anything like that, but people didn't really seem interested. I didn't really get too many comments on that video, so yeah, not my best showing. Then ethics of emulation, I thought was actually a pretty interesting topic, because emulation is something that often comes up when it comes to PC gaming, how emulation is so prevalent. Is it actually piracy? So let's see what you guys have to say. Magna Master says, "Where I live, you are legally entitled to make a backup copy of any piece of software, so ripping the game is even legal here." Magna Master lives in Germany, so I'm not familiar with copyright law over there, but that's pretty interesting, actually. Then he says, "The way I see it in terms of ethics is that the developer is not going to make any money if you got the game, like buying a used copy of a game that is no longer sold outside of those used copies. I consider it fine. I see it the same way with pirating PC games. I have pirated a few because they were no longer being sold anywhere. No one is losing anything in that situation. I am also a big fan of video game history, and I am in favor of preservation of all games ever made. We will reach a point where emulation will be 100% essential for that with some games. There are already games out there where you can count the copies still left on your two hands. Yeah, that's a very good point. Especially with DRM and cloud gaming and all this stuff that's popping out where you really have no ownership at all towards your games. Piracy and emulation may be essential if you want those games to still be playable 10, 20 years in the future if those services shut down. I mean, we see it already with games like Tron Evolution, which, sure is not like a big game, but still, any game that is completely lost to history and is unplayable, that's not good. Like that game's just the whole prospect of a piece of work, of a piece of art being lost forever. So I think that's definitely a really good point that a lot of other people in the comment section have echoed, and I kind of was echoing the same thing in that video. So when it comes to preservation, emulation is definitely important. And as far as like the actual ethics of when is it okay to emulate in the sense of it technically being piracy because it's unauthorized, well, the developer itself is no longer existent, or if they're not going to profit from the game anyway. The comparison to used games is very interesting, and we actually have another comment about used games. So, Devos says, what about buying used games on a current console? Do you think it is stealing if you buy a game used instead of new? So I see that very often, the comparison between piracy and used games, in the sense that, well, it when it comes to the developer, I mean, it is the same. Exactly. Definitely the same amount of harm is being done because they are not directly profiting from that sale. They're not profiting at all from the used game sale, and they're certainly not profiting from piracy. And if you download an emulator or something, I guess that can also constitute piracy in certain cases. What I have to say about used games, as far as its economic impact, I don't think used games should be classified in the same category as piracy, simply because the used game market is responsible for employing thousands of people, who work at game stores and just selling used games, the whole video game rentals, GameFly. Thousands of people have been employed because of the used game and rental market, and it's a legitimate business. So while I understand the comparison in the sense that the developer either way is not making money, and they probably do hate used games just as much as they hate piracy, just in the grand scheme of the video game industry, they're not comparable at all. Like, one definitely does a lot more harm in the grand scheme of things than the other, than the used games. Okay, so then I decided to make another Console Peasant Cancer video. This time, instead of responding to myself, I read a whole bunch of stupid comments from console peasants on social media. The Calm Gamer says, it's hard to believe this is the same guy who used to claim himself as the console king and got roasted by YouTubers. Yeah, I've definitely come a long way. The Real Slim Shady says, he copied Barry. You people are idiots if you don't see that you're not aware to that shit. Only idiots don't see he's a Bullet Barry clone. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm doing a series that's similar to what Bullet Barry is doing. First of all, I approached him about it. I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this new series on my channel, and he was like, very supportive about that, and he said, go ahead, you should definitely make these videos, and ask him yourself if you don't believe me. And he also, you see the comment that he left earlier, he doesn't seem to mind me taking some inspiration from him. But, like, my whole thing is, yeah, I'm obviously doing something that other people have done before, but my whole thinking, my whole rationale is that it's coming from a completely unique perspective from any of these other YouTubers, because I used to be the subject matter of these videos. I used to be the butt of the joke. Now I'm in on the joke. So I figured it would be like a unique perspective. Now do I think I'm going to go to like episode 50 or however much Bullet Barry has done? No. I don't think I'm going to keep doing this on and on and on and on and on. But it's working well for me. And also, Bullet Barry did not invent the idea himself specifically. You can ask him yourself. He actually got his idea from Top Hats and Champagne. So I wouldn't just do what other people are doing if I didn't feel like I had something to contribute to it. Remember, I used to be a news channel, and then I felt like, well, I have nothing to contribute to this whole thing, the whole gaming news cycle. Everyone is doing that, What would I offer to the table that's unique? So I decided to stop doing it. If I don't feel like I'm actually contributing to the conversation and actually offering something new and unique, then I'm not going to do it. But yeah, of course I didn't invent the whole prospect of the whole concept of reading peasant comments. Of course I'm not. Of course I'm not the first one. And I definitely won't be the last. But like I said, I like to think that me and Barry do completely different content, especially recently with this whole being on drugs thing. But no, Barry's awesome. He's definitely a big inspiration for this channel. I'm not going to deny that. But I like to think that we do have enough differences for me not to be considered a Bullet Barry clone. But if you guys think I am, let me know. But I don't think I am. Then I made a documentary on the 2011 PSN blackout, which was a pretty big deal back in the day, 9 years ago. Remember, the PSN was out for a month, so I did a whole documentary on it. Now, I know there are other documentaries that were on that topic before by other people, but I feel like they missed a huge component of that, which would be when it comes to the whole PlayStation 3 dropping Linux support, and then GeoHot, and that whole equation. People seem to focus more on, like, Sony and why they're just incompetent and they have awful online infrastructure. Like, yeah, that's obviously, like, a big thing as to why the network breach happened, but I feel like a huge component of it, like, the motivation behind the hackers in breaching the PlayStation Network and then the network getting taken down, like, that was a huge component that a lot of people that made similar videos didn't really touch on. So I think I offered something unique there in that situation, and Julius Anderson seems to like these types of videos. He said, more gaming history. Try covering the Xbox 360 versus PS3 war. That's definitely something that I'm planning on doing in the future. Maybe the Genesis versus Super Nintendo war. I'm planning like a whole series on going over every single console generation one by one. So when I get to the 7th generation, obviously the PS3 and 360 will be like a part of that video. But that's definitely something I'd like to cover in the future, and it'll be really fun. So definitely. Then I made a video related to the PlayStation 4, the rumors that the PlayStation 4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn was headed to PC. So I did a whole thing talking about that, like whether or not if console exclusives should just exist at all, or if they all should come to PC. And that was a video that you guys seemed to like because I offered a more balanced approach and not just like, well, I play on PC, I should be able to play all the games. Like I try to offer like a more like realistic and just like a more balanced view than what you typically see on the internet with these fanboys. You know, if you're a PlayStation fanboy, you don't want your games to go anywhere. You think you should be the only one that has them. If you're a PC fanboy, you think you should play everything. I tried to be a little bit more balanced to that. And I got an interesting comment that I wanted to address from Ace Ascendus, who said, "You are wrong. PC is not a competing market with consoles. Having everyone publish on PC wouldn't damage competition. It would improve it." And Jaden San added to that saying, "True, it's like a neutral ground for everything." Yeah, I don't agree with that. I am a PC gamer. I have no intentions of ever coming back to console, really. But I would be a lot more likely to get a PlayStation 5 if there were compelling exclusives that were must-play than if the games were available on PC. The very notion that PC gamers are just always going to play on PC and they would never buy a PlayStation, well, it seems like there's a lot of demand for those games, first of all, and it may just be enough for a few PC gamers to come over and get a PlayStation 5. Just because you are not one of those people, and I am not one of those people, really, but doesn't mean that you speak for the entire industry and that PC gaming is just this completely separate ecosystem from consoles. It's not. I mean, it's closer to console gaming than, let's say, console gaming is to mobile gaming, right? Like, mobile gaming is definitely a lot more different than console gaming is to PC. I mean, you have the same games that come out on console and PC. You have, the same companies that develop games for them, and they're very similar platforms in the sense that you have, similar games that come out on both platforms, right? The point I'm trying to make is, knowing that you have similar games that are released, Activision, EA, and all these other companies, right? The big AAA games, you have indie games, you have all these games that come out on all these platforms, right? A lot of the same games that you see on PlayStation Store, Xbox Live, Steam. I mean, there's a common thing there, right? The point is that to think that Steam is not competition to Sony is, in my opinion, ignorant of the fact that Sony wants you to buy games on their storefront. And the only way to buy games on their storefront is to get the console. They have exclusive games to entice you to get that console, but if you just decide to not bother getting the console and buy all your games on Steam or some PC storefront, that is absolutely competition for Sony. To think that it's not competition is just not right. So yeah, PC and console, Steam, Xbox Live, PlayStation, they're definitely all competitors with one another, no doubt. And then Summonon says, it's more very necessary evil. Without exclusives, consoles would either become monopoly or just die to PC, which some players may not enjoy. It's not black or white, and thanks for showing me that. I mean, absolutely. Like, let's not kid ourselves. If PC was the only platform available, then the gaming industry would definitely be hurt. Like, you know, I don't like consoles. You don't like consoles. You know, a lot of us may not like consoles, but they definitely serve a purpose in the video game industry in the sense that it attracts a more mainstream audience. Now, whether or not PC gaming is actually that more difficult or that, like, less accessible than console gaming, there really is no difference, but people don't seem to realize that. So when you only have one console in the market, and don't get me, like, don't fool yourselves. If there's no such thing as exclusive games, there would be no reason to have 3 consoles on the market. So if there's only one console on the market, you're going to have a lot more monopolistic market conditions, and that's not going to be good. No matter what. No matter where how you play your games, it's going to hurt everybody. So I would love to live in a world where PC exclusives, where console exclusives can come to PC, but I don't think that would actually work out as well as people think it would. And this is coming from someone that would love nothing more for it to work, but, you know, I got to be a little bit practical here and not just think about what I want and how I want things to be, rather than the way things simply have to be. And I made another video on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One talking about, the Cyberpunk being delayed, but rumored to be because that the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are so underpowered that they're struggling to get that game running on the older consoles. And I was saying, cancel Cyberpunk for those consoles and stop supporting the PS4 and Xbox One within the next year because those consoles are so outdated that they're holding gaming back. Now, people seem to like that video, but I didn't get a lot of engagement for some reason, so let me know what you guys think was wrong with that video if you've made it this far. I know we're going over a half hour already, so I'm sorry about that, but I just want to get through everything. Morality of modding, I made a video on that, just kind of a follow-up from my ethics of emulation video. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't really that interesting. You didn't have a whole lot of engagement, but you actually did get a lot more engagement than the last video, even though it had like half the views. So we got a comment from Voldov. In my opinion, mods that simply do small improvements to the game, like texture improvement mods, unofficial bug fixes, or add accessible options such as colorblind modes, are completely fine. Mods that add new storylines, missions are generally fine too, but mods that allow you to cheat in multiplayer are absolutely awful. Most of the time can't even be considered mods, as most of the time it's an external program. Cheating in single player is very mixed though, but I would generally say it's okay as long as it doesn't affect other players. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, like, in hindsight, maybe modding and cheating, I should have separated those two concepts, because modding, I mean, but, like, I remember back in the day with the 360, it was called, like, having a modded console when you JTagged your console and you were cheating. Like, that's what we called it back in the day. We called it modding. I guess now modding and cheating really have two completely different definitions to it, so I probably should have done a better job, like, delineating between the two, but I think generally we had a good conversation about mods and whether or not developers are righteous in taking down mod projects that don't really actually harm the development studio and really actually they're just taking it down for arbitrary reasons. So I definitely think that it's still an interesting conversation to have, but definitely, you know, that video along with my buying the right monitor video, those two videos, I think, maybe I was better off not making them, and they weren't really that great, but I don't know. Then I make the third Console Peasant Cancer video, which is the last video of the month before this one, obviously. And it seemed to have been received very well. People seem to like it. This was a video response to another YouTuber called Pixel Hipster, and he was talking about how console gaming is better than PC gaming. And I debunked every single argument that he made. People seem to really love that video. It's funny how, like, it's all coming full circle now. I used to be the subject of these videos. Now I'm making these videos towards other people. So Harry Burns says, 90% of these console is better than PC videos mention the controller being a better input device than a keyboard. I wish more people knew that you can use any input device you want on PC. Even a Wii remote works with the motion controls intact. Exactly. Why? It is such a simple thing. It's not even like it requires a lot of... You literally just plug it in and the controller works. why do people not know that this works, that this is a thing on PC? It's because it just shows that they have never actually played on a PC before, but they make these stupid uninformed videos, but when they keep mentioning keyboard and mouse sucks, you can tell they really didn't spend much time on a PC besides making that stupid video and editing it. That's really the only PC experience they have, but actually the actual gaming experience, they actually haven't actually played too many games on PC if they actually think that controller on PC doesn't exist, because literally it's the easiest thing to do. You just plug it in and it works. It's plug and play. And I've just gotten so many comments being so happy about the new direction of this channel, so I'm really hoping to keep things going the way they're going right now, because it seems to be doing really well for me and people seem to actually enjoy my content, because my channel's been very stagnant. It's pretty much been on life support for the past couple years, and yeah, like admittedly, my channel has been shit the past couple of years. Like in 2017, I was doing so great, I was on a roll, and then towards the end of 17, beginning of 2018, I just completely fell flat, and I haven't really felt like I've been really making any meaningful content until about a month ago. So January was a very good month for me. I really enjoyed it. I had such a great time making these videos, and I hope you guys stick around. To any of the new subscribers that have just found me for the first time, or maybe people who unsubscribed and decided to resubscribe and give me a chance, no matter who you are, if you're a long-time viewer who stuck around this whole time, regardless, I appreciate every single one of you, and I thank all of you for watching and supporting the channel, because yeah, it's been a rocky ride from my early days and as a little 11-year-old kid making cringy webcam videos till I was that 13-year-old squeaker making those Call of Duty commentary videos, and then, you know, around 2012, 2013, I went on a whole anti-Nintendo phase, and I was shitting on all the Nintendo games, and just, yeah, I was just going after Nintendo for a while, and then, of course, what people know me more famously for, the whole PC versus console thing, and me saying that console gaming is the best, and then I kind of lost myself for a while. I kind of went off the deep end saying, I am the console king. But then in 2017, after dropping the console king and spending 8 years on the internet being vilified in the community, people started actually liking me, and people started to see me in a positive light, and my channel was starting to blow up. I don't know what happened to stop the growth. I don't know if it was just people were just no longer interested in my content. Maybe the honeymoon phase went off because, yeah, okay, this guy is making videos, he's cool and everything, but, you know, I just don't like him. You know, I think that's the thing. Like, you can't... People like Bullet Barry and all these other people can promote me and can say great things about me, but they can't force me... They can't force people to like me. Like, I have to do that myself. I need to earn people's admiration and their appreciation of my content, and that is done by making good content and being involved in the community, which are two things that are important for the growth of a channel that I've just been neglecting for whatever reason. Sure, I've had a lot of things going on in my life the past couple of years, and I've kind of, like, YouTube has kind of taken a huge backseat, but the past month on YouTube for this channel has been very promising, and I hope to keep this momentum going in February. So it's going to be a good month. I have a lot of good content planned for the future, and I also plan on doing another monthly recap if you guys like this. If you didn't like it, I'm just not going to bother, but I feel like engaging with the community, reading comments, and doing all that, and just reflecting a little bit, I think that's a cool thing to do every month or so. The next video is not going to be nearly as long as this one, I promise. I'm looking to keep it at least half length, but, you know, if I want to get to a good amount of comments and leave meaningful responses, I don't want to just read a comment, acknowledge your existence, and then be like, oh, cool comment, and then move on to the next comment. Like, you know, to get everyone in, yeah, like, I want to, like, make a, like, show a comment and then give a meaningful response. Like I'm actually acknowledging you, but I'm also giving you a thoughtful response to the comment that you made, because you put all that effort to watch the video, to leave a thoughtful response. The least I could do is give you a thoughtful response in return if I'm going to make these types of videos. So that's another thing. Okay, so before I was talking about, like, the scheduling and all that, let me know if you guys like my current schedule, if you want me to change the days a little bit, maybe the release time as well, maybe in the afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Does that sound a little bit better? Because I think 12:15 wasn't really great. Anyway, I mean, let me know about that. But also, this specific video, if you want more of this, or if you think, like, dude, okay, I want more of this, but cut it down. I'm definitely trying to do that at least. But yeah, this a 40-minute video is a lot longer than I'm used to, so I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for doing that. But I think it was definitely worth it. I had a good time making this video. I appreciate every single comment. I read every single one of them. If you weren't featured, it might just be because people have said the same thing before, or it's just that you didn't leave a meaningful response. Maybe you were trolling or something like that. But if you leave a thoughtful comment for my videos in the next month and you actually put some type of effort into leaving a meaningful response to the video, yeah, there's a very good chance that you'll be featured next month. But I think we're going to wrap this up finally. Thank you all for watching, whether you've watched this for 5 minutes or the entire 40 minutes. It doesn't matter, just that you would take any of your time to come out and watch this video when a lot of us have busy schedules. We have, a lot of stuff to do. That you would take any time to tune into my videos and support the channel. It really means so much to me. Hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll catch you later. Bye.